Hello, everybody. Welcome to an somewhat instant reaction show to the Seahawks mock scrimmage. This was the mock game, whatever you want to call it, at Lumen Field, where Geno Smith did not play, but we got to watch a bunch of the other Seahawks play. Got to watch Mike Macdonald take his first steps onto Lumen Field as the coach of the Seattle Seahawks with his team behind him. And I got a few things to share, a couple things of note, and I'm going to start with some of the things that came out of Mike Macdonald's press conference at the end of the practice/game. Of note with Mike Macdonald, first of all, he did say Geno Smith is going through another test today, but he also said that he expects Geno Smith to be back this week. So all signs continue to be positive there, and that's good news. Another piece of news. Sorry, as I send out a quick note. Another piece of news. This was something where, he was asked about how he feels about the offensive line. And this was potentially, to me, the biggest bit of news today. Mike Macdonald said, I want to see them in a game. And then he said, I don't think we have our final five yet. I don't think we're close to declaring our final five. That's news, folks, because the implication there, so far, Anthony Bradford has been pretty situated at right guard, George Fant at right tackle, Olu at center, Lakin Tomlinson at left guard, and Charles Cross at left tackle. I don't think he was talking about Charles Cross. I don't think he was talking about Lakin Tomlinson. I don't think he was talking about George Fant. I do think my first thought was right guard and Anthony Bradford. I think Christian Haynes has been making strides. I think he got some reps today. I thought that looked like they were first team reps. Hard to tell in these practices for sure. But I believe that right guard spot is potentially starting to close in terms of competition. And that's just my guess. Now, center, that's another thing. Obviously, Oluwatimi has had some health issues. He also has not been particularly great from my eye in practice in terms of holding up strength-wise against bull rushes and other things. We got the news from Jeremy Fowler today that the Seahawks have been in conversation with Connor Williams and Drew Rosenhaus, but nothing's imminent, and that they're taking some time. We got to hear from Brady Henderson that it may be a little bit like that they're asking for a lot of money for Connor Williams, and that the Seahawks might be balking at that price. It might be related to cash budget, if not just cap space. There's a certain amount of cash that teams are allowed to spend, and maybe, after signing Julian Love to this big extension, maybe that tapped them a little dry. I don't think that's the issue. I'll say I don't think that's the issue. I do think Connor Williams could be part of it, but when Mike Macdonald talked about his final five, I don't think he was thinking of anyone that's not on the roster. I think he's thinking of the right guard spot. And I think that competition is getting lively. So that to me is the biggest news. There were some other pieces that came out of the press conference that were good. I asked him about Tyrese Knight, and Mike Macdonald said, you feel him when you get on the field like this. And yeah, he had a nice tackle and he's coming on strong. I think Tyrese Knight is looking more and more like a promising linebacker for the Seahawks. I'm not saying he's the next coming of Bobby Wagner, but he's looking like he is going to be a contributing player for this team. And related to that, we got some news that Jerome Baker has been dealing with a hamstring injury, out for a little while, which has also given Tyrese Knight a chance to get reps with the ones and just more reps in general, which I think is good, obviously good for him. Other bits of news. I did ask him about Mike Morris. It's the first time I think anyone's asked him about Mike Morris, a player that played for him in Michigan. And Mike Morris had a nice day today. He created pressure from the outside. He created pressure from the inside. And when I asked Mike McDonald about it, he said, yeah, you feel Mike Morris when he's on the field. He said, I feel Mike Morris when he's on the field, whether he's pressuring inside or outside. And I think that's good news too. And I think that's what my eyes were telling me watching the practice, the mock game. And so it was good to see that. So I think those were like the biggest pieces of news from the Mike McDonald press conference. There's some other things there. He continues to be excited about Byron Murphy, but doesn't want to go get too far out over his skis on it. The overall feeling of this practice was defense won. Overall feeling. Followed closely by, oh my God, preseason's going to be rough, folks, because the quarterback play without Geno Smith is not good. It's just, there was a few plays today that were all right. Sam Howell, God bless Mike McDonald, trying to figure out how to talk about Sam Howell in the press conference. There isn't a lot of positive things to say. He didn't play that well. And he pulls down the ball and he runs. And, he had a number of passes tipped at the line of scrimmage today. I'm trying to look back at my notes. I'll write this up later. But let's see. Let me see it get all the way to the team drills. Yeah, I don't see. Where is it? Oh, Devin Witherspoon blitzed. He knocked down a pass. Then Mike Morris knocked down a pass. Then Leonard Williams knocked down a pass. A lot of those things were coming on the the right side of the offensive line against McClendon Curtis. So take that for what it's worth. But Howell just wasn't great in this game. And it felt hard to watch. The running game, they really were trying to work on the running game today. And it felt to me like the defense did a better job stopping the run than the offense did running the ball. So again, these things are hard where it's like, hey, cool, the run defense looks good. Or, hey, is the offensive line run blocking not good? It's hard to really know. You won't know till you see it against other competition. But it was not a particularly productive day on the ground, but there was a lot of effort put in by the coaches in terms of doing it. Mike McDonald did talk about in the post-game presser that one of the things that their goals here wasn't just for the players, it was this whole new coaching staff getting to know one another and figuring out how to do operations on game day and who's going to be where and how they communicate. And so I think that was maybe one of the biggest pluses of doing this was them just getting more game day experience. People underestimate the fact that this coaching staff, a lot of them are having to learn how to do this for the first time, either in the NFL or together at all. It's going to take a little while for them to settle into a routine and know how to do it. So that's another bonus, I guess, today. There were a couple skirmishes. One, it was hard for me to see exactly who was involved. Derek Hall was definitely one of them. And I believe it was in 1v1 pass rush drills. And I think it was Stone Forsythe. He took exception to something Stone Forsythe said or did. He turned around and pushed Stone Forsythe in the back. That turned into a big scrum, offensive line, defensive line for a little while. And then the next rep, because they do reps back to back, was Derek Hall against Stone Forsythe again. And Derek Hall came off the line like a missile and just ran like every bit of his strength right into Stone Forsythe, who got moved back about 5 yards. So I don't know. I like a little spice in those drills, and that was kind of nice to see Derek Hall's got that in him. There was also a play in team drills where D. Eskridge caught a nice throw from PJ Walker, and Marquise Blair kind of gave him an extra shove in the back at the end of the play. and Eskridge did not appreciate it. And then I'm not positive. I think it was Raekwon O'Neal came flying in, offensive guard, to push Marquise Blair. And there was like a lot of pushing and shoving. And then after it kind of started to break up, Christian Haynes got involved. Often it was one-on-one with him and Marquise Blair, and he shoved Blair. And Blair kind of shoved back. But like, I kind of liked seeing the offensive line run in there and have their teammates back. There were times last year where I felt like the team didn't play like they had each other's backs. And so that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool to see. No one got hurt. Other things that stood, I'm looking through my notes. If you're wondering why I'm looking over here, Devin Witherspoon had a nice day. Tyrese Knight, like I said, had a couple nice plays. Hayden Hatton had a nice day. Receiver, undrafted free agent, had another couple of catches, almost had a third tough catch, couldn't quite come down with it. I thought Kenny McIntosh did not have a good day. I continue to think he is falling behind. I think Kobe Lewis is gaining and gaining if he's not already surpassed him. Cody White had a couple of plays. Boye Mafe had a nice day. Boye Mafe beat George Fant a couple of times. He would have had a couple of sacks today. I thought this was maybe his best practice from what I saw. Who else? Scrolling through. I took notes for every single play. Yeah, I think Patrick O'Connell had a decent day. So that was nice to see. Jack Westover had a hell of a touchdown catch. Really impressive that he was able to hold on. So did Jake Bobo. Had a great touchdown catch. And I think that was really it. I mean, generally speaking, they did not do kickoff returns. I see this question from one of our YouTube members, Axel MTG. By the way, you can join as a YouTube member. The link is in the description of the video. And we are getting closer and closer. I think we're at like 90 YouTube members. Like we've gained a bunch. I want to get up to I think we've gained about 10 or 15 either Patreon members or YouTube members this week. If we can get up to 50 new folks before the season starts, then I will start covering road games for you as well. So they did not do kickoff returns, is the answer to your question. So they did not do that. I think they're trying to not show their hand in how they're going to handle that. They did do some punt returns. Otherwise, I will just say, personal note, really cool experience for me. First time sitting in the press box. First time being able to go on the field. They're like, hey, do you want to go down the field? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. And so I'm sitting there. I got some good pictures right up against, these guys warming up on the field. And then got to go into the post-game press conference and ask Mike McDonald questions. I've been asking him questions after practice all week, but it was pretty special to be able to be in there and ask those questions and not wish someone was asking something I wanted to know, but being able to ask exactly what I wanted to know. So that was a cool kind of, I wouldn't even say a bucket list item, because bucket list things are things you can imagine will happen. I didn't ever imagine this would happen. And it was a pretty cool experience. So it wouldn't have happened without all of you guys, the support you provide, watching, sharing the show, giving it a like, click and subscribe, all that stuff has really helped grow the show. And oh my God, we got a new YouTube member. Another Brian. I will forgive you for the misspelling of your name. There's only one right way to spell Brian, and it's with an I, but I do absolutely love that Brian Henderson just joined as a YouTube member. Would love to have you join. Again, the link is in the description of the video. Come on, be a part of the family. This is going to be a fun season. We're going to have fun together. Join as a YouTube member. Join as a Patreon member at patreon.com/hawkblogger. All right, everybody. I got to run. Wanted to give you the goods on today. Great day. Great Seafair. Great Blue Angels. Hope everyone is having something fun happening today. Quick question from Cindy, one of our YouTube members. She says, Brian, were you able to restrain yourself with enthusiasm in the press box? Yeah, I mean, it was pretty empty in there, and I'm telling you, I'm not watching real games in there. There's no way I'm watching the game without being able to scream my head off. That's just how I do. But thanks for the question. And oh, holy moly, to another YouTube member, Michael Hacult. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Mike or Michael, thanks, dude. I'm really, really happy to have you aboard. Great to have you as part of the family. We're getting closer and closer to the 50 new member goal. So thank you to Brian Henderson and Michael Hacult for joining. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful night. I will be Yakult with an H. Hacult. Okay, got it. I will be on tomorrow morning with someone that you might not know that well. Masvita Moreira has been covering Seahawks, Seattle sports for a long time. Cascadia Sports is his company. He's an independent. Have a ton of respect. He's been a great guy to get to know. So he's going to be on the show at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Tune in for Hawk Blogger Mornings for what will be like the 133rd straight day of doing this. So it should be fun. Tune in tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your night.